Good evening. Welcome to Expression in Painting by Paul Crimi. I want to dedicate this show to my brother Vinny, who turned 70 last week, and he's on his deathbed. And I want to say he was a great brother and still will always be a great brother. So his name is Vincent, and I'm going to miss him a lot. All right, so we're going to do this painting tonight, but before we do it, this is last show. We did this woods painting, and I brought it in to show you. I think it came out rather nice. Of course, I worked on it a ton. You saw it, just a few trees and a few leaves, but there's a lot of different strokes, and it's got a nice feeling of depth. You feel like you're walking in the woods, and you feel present in the painting. And that's one of the things I love about painting. If you can feel that, then it works. This painting here we did a few shows back, and it's called World's End. Let me put this out of the way. And we did this maybe 5 or 6 shows back. It's World's End. It's got a beautiful soft sky and a little tiny stream going in. I really love it. World's End in Hingham. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's a national park. And the third painting I brought is this little tiny black and white, which I happen to love black and white. And I've done 77 birch tree paintings, and this is 78. I'll never stop doing them. They have something kind of a meditative quality to them that I really like. I really feel that you get to look at it as a different way every time you look at it. The strength of those white trees, they remind me of almost people. They're really nice quality. I haven't quite figured out if it's finished yet. And tonight I brought this canvas. It's not too large, not too small. It's black. I already painted it black. I've got a photograph. I'm going to hold it up. It happens to be Nantucket in the wintertime. I'm going to hold it up in front of Andrew. Andrew's going to come right in on it. By the way, this show, Expression in Painting, is going to be on YouTube. So you'll be able to watch it anytime you want. We put it up on YouTube already on the birch tree painting, and it got 1,100 people watched it already. So you'll be able to watch it at your own convenience. It's Expression in Painting by Paul Crimi on YouTube. Also, you got to see this photograph. So what we're going to do now, lock the canvas down, and then I'll start blocking it in, and we'll get to going on this painting. This is a kind of a painting that'll really move along. It has that real minimalist feeling. Sky, the little sand, and then the water in the foreground. So I've got the paint on the palette already. I brought my reducing mirror this time. We've got some brushes in the water, so I'm going to start. I'm going to just start by doing the dark sky, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, my brother Vinny came down with Alzheimer's 15 years ago when he was 55, and been fighting it for years, and it's finally caught up with him now. He just celebrated his 70th birthday last week, and God love him. My mother had four war babies. He's 42, I'm 43, my brother Joey's 44, and my sister Ann's 45. So we're only a year apart, and boy, did we have a great childhood. I'm telling you, the things we did. Good Lord, my poor mother. My father's off doing the war thing. Of course, I think he was in the Marines, and he was in Quantico, so he didn't go too far. Thank God. So I'm just going to put this guy in the water, and then we'll put the sand in and in the other color, and try to make it as simple as possible. I brought my blower. I'm going to sneak and trying to clean up here a little. The best thing is to just get it all done. Get it blue. Block it in as quickly as you can. Get it down. I mean, I paint so many of these ocean scenes. In fact, my son-in-law is coming next Monday night to the studio with a Cub Scout group, and we're going to have a little ocean sky kind of painting thing for them, which is all right with me. I think painting is something. I started painting at 7, and I think everybody should paint. Some way or another they should paint. If you have the chance and take a painting course, you should take a painting course. There's nothing more relaxing. And don't paint for the idea that you're going to make money, because that's crazy. You know, you paint, and if somebody buys it, then you're blessed. If they don't, you have a beautiful piece of art. But the most important thing about painting is that you enjoy it yourself. So I'm just throwing color on the canvas. I'm not doing any detail. I won't do any detail for a few minutes. And I'm going to start drying this paint in a few minutes so it makes a difference on how I apply it. I've taken a year off from painting, and I've been marketing my work on the internet, on Facebook. If you want to see some of my work on Facebook, it's Paul Crimi. And then I have this Facebook page, Paul Crimi Fine Arts. And you can go on there and look at a lot of my paintings. And I'm also in LinkedIn. LinkedIn. So, connecting with a ton of people all over the world. I'm in all of these groups. Okay, we got some of this down. I think I might lighten the sky a tiny bit more. Give it a little more versatility. And if I make it look easy, don't forget, I've been painting since I was 7, and it is easy. Painting is easy. It's only hard when you get it in your head that it's hard. I mean, people email me all the time, and they say, oh, water's so hard to paint. How do you do it and make it look so watery? Well, you know something? I felt like that when I was a young man, too, when I first started. So I went and took a class with this Ed Harrigan in Rockland. He was a great painter, and I loved what he did with water. And I had one class with him, or 2, and he came up to me and said, I'm giving you your money back. You're too talented to be in this class. And he threw me out of the class. Oh, God. And we were friends our whole lives. I was thinking about all of these guys, Ed Harrigan, Marshall Joyce, Sam Evans. They were all friends of mine, and Kevin Micchiarelli, and they're all gone, and God love them. Every one of them were great artists. We're not here forever. We're only passing through. You know, so you got to do what you got to do while you're here. All right, so I got the blower. I'm going to take off some of this water. This is only so that I can get this painting down to a point where you can see it develop. But if I was in my studio, I would do this, and I'd go sit in my chair, which I have a chair here now so I can go sit in. And I look at it for a few minutes. Might go sit down and look at this. But I really feel like this isn't dark enough, that the sky hasn't got enough paint. So I'm just going to dry off the water, and then we'll go from there. You know, I treat acrylics like watercolors. Watercolors, people say, oh my God, they're so hard to paint because I treat acrylics the same way. They're a water base, and you just go after it. I keep saying, I know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. I'm in charge, I'm the painter, and I go and do it. All right. Go back and get some more paint. Take out the water this time. And you know, by putting layer on top of layer on top of layer, you build this beautiful stuff that goes on in the painting that I really love. I mean, people go and they look at, if you want to see a bunch of these ocean scenes of mine, go down to Cohasset, the French Memories, the bakery. I've got about 25, and they're small, tiny little 6x6 canvases, or they're 3x9. I fell in love with these little tiny canvases, and I did a whole stack of them. I think I have maybe 10 or 12 of them at the French Memories. And they're very reasonable, and I think you might like them. I love them. I think they're beautiful. Trouble with me is I have so many friends, I wind up giving a lot of them away. But that's all right. See, what you see happening now, well, let's throw some of this in here too. We'll get a little nervy, and we'll put some sand in. I'm going to put it up pretty high, so we'll go right up about here. So we have all of that water down there. Let me see how this looks. I'm going to go back, take a peek. You're standing on top of it like this. You really can't see it. Go back here for a second. I'm looking for my right here. See, it doesn't look like much right now, but that's all right. Oh, it's a little high. It's a little whack, too. Let me straighten that out. See, you couldn't see it when you were standing on top of it, but I'll straighten this right out. And the thing is, keep washing your brush off. Keep the brush as clean as you can. I read an article about the Russians in the way they do some of these fabulous paintings. And they wash their brush after every stroke. They go like this, they wash the brush. And they go like, they wash the brush. And that's great because it keeps the painting fresh. You can hear the cheerleaders in the background. We're at the Hanover High School. It's a great facility. Oh my God, this cable station is magnificent. They did a great job when they built this. Colleen's in charge, Colleen Smith. Fantastic. We got a great crew. We got Andrew, Evan, and Laura, and Mrs. Brown, and we got Bob. We got a fabulous crew, and of course, they love to hear from you when you send us an email at the station or Paul Crimi Fine Arts or Expression in Painting. We love to hear from you. It makes us feel like that you're out there listening and watching. I have people come up to me constantly when I'm outside, and I'll be talking with somebody, and they'll say, "Hey, I recognize your voice. You're the guy that has that TV show." I was at Michael's one day, and I had this guy come up to me all excited. He says, "Oh, I've been watching your show for years, and I finally got to meet you, and I love your show." And you know, yeah. I looked at him. I was with my grandson. We were at the Five Guys over here in Hanover, and some guy walked up to me, and he says to me, "Oh, my God, I just think your show is fabulous." And my little grandson, who's 11, looked at me and says, "Papa, are you famous?" I says, "Yeah, for 15 minutes. That's Andy Warhol's favorite line. Everybody's famous for 15 minutes in their lives." I said, "No, I'm not famous, kid. They're just people like the TV show, and the people that would do the TV show would do a good job." So we're seeing what we got here. Like I said, this painting here, I'll have to slow myself down because it's one of those things that I love painting like this. And I could do 100 of these things, I'm telling you, and never get bored. Let me take a look. Yeah, this has got a long way to go. It looks like it's getting there, but it's not there. It's got a long way to go. That's what you got to be careful of when you paint. You got to be careful of getting too puffed up about yourself because it starts to look good. And you got to be patient with yourself when you're painting. Because it starts to have a personality, and you got to find it. You just take your time, step back. And this, if I was in my studio, I would be sitting down, looking at this, relaxing. I bought a chair today, and we sit in that chair over there, and that's what I'll do. So this is kind of a winter scene. So the water is a little different in the winter than it is in the summer. It's a little deeper and it's a little darker. It has a different personality. The sky's different. Everything's different about winter water. I was on Nantucket and I had a show there, and I was riding around in a rented car taking photographs. And I came across this particular spot and I said, oh, I love it. And I shot a roll of film of the same stuff. And everybody said, my God, you got 30, 40 pictures of the same thing over and over. Well, you know something, there's a variation in every photograph, and there's a variation in every painting. I'm going to go after the sky now. And if you're observant, God, we have got the most gorgeous skies. September and October, absolutely, if you love clouds and you love skies, it is the best month, both of them. But October is the best because of the lighting, because of the position of the sun and everything. Oh, my favorite time of year is now. The weather's nice, the leaves are starting to turn. Oh. We take so much for granted. We don't look around. If you only looked around, I think that's what artists do. Artists look around a lot better than most people. I see that they see with their soul rather than their eyes. I have just posted a bunch of collages on the Facebook, and I called the series "Window to My Soul." And a lot of them, they're so really colorful, and then the black and white ones too. I just love doing collages. They have a personality all on their own. And the collages are my own work. What I do is I save everything that I've done, and I've done thousands and thousands of prints throughout the years. I had an etching press for 40 years, and I put all of these things in the drawers, and I go back and go through them, and the ones that don't seem to make me feel great about, I'll cut them up or tear them up, and I'll put them in a box, and then one day I'll take that box out and start gluing them down. And it's my favorite thing. I've been doing collages since I was, 11, 12 years old. I think I had a junior high teacher that showed me how to do that, and I loved it. And I've been doing them ever since. We're going back and we're drying this a little, as you can see. This is starting to take shape. The colors are starting to get built up, starting to have a really nice, quiet feeling. I'm going to use this fan brush. I love these brushes. Guy used to say magic brush. Bob. The magic tree and the magic brush and the magic cloud. Oh, died of cancer. He was a nice guy. Had a great show. I can hear you saying, oh, I like the way it looked a minute ago. Oh. I must go over the sky, I don't know, when I'm painting like this 10, 12 times maybe. Even on the little tiny ones, I go over it and over it and over it and over it. And something happens, something magical happens along the way. It starts to take on its own shape, its own form. You get all the lines out, all of the imperfections. And it starts to look like what the photograph looks like. And then I could throw a few floating clouds in there. Like this, you go in and you go like this, and you throw a little floating cloud in, like. And if I make it look easy, I'm telling you, it took a long time. Like my son-in-law says, oh, maybe you can teach them how to paint clouds. I said, I'd rather teach them how to paint birch trees than clouds, because I make it look so easy, but these clouds can drive you to drink. If you just gotta be patient, and you gotta just say, I'm doing it, and that's it. I'm not gonna waver. I'm just gonna do it, and it works. And the water, same thing with the water. I'm going to go back there and look for a few seconds to see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to go over the sand too. All right, let's go sit down for a second. Take a second or two. Come back here. Take out my reducing mirror. Sit in this chair for a second. Oh, look at this. This is starting to have a life. I've dropped my reducing mirror so many times. It's got cracks and breaks and boy, that's coming. It really is. Really going to be nice. Dry it a little. Now I would sit in the rocking chair for a lot longer than what I just did. I'd sit in the rocking chair for about half hour. And I wouldn't be using the blower so much too. But this is TV, and I want to get this to come together for you so that you start to see it. And when I paint these paintings like this on TV, they're never finished. An hour, I call this the painting sketch in an hour. I take that other painting and I worked on it like for a month, every day, dabbing away, putting all those leaves and trees, and even the birch tree one. It was endless. You know, you do a show like this, and I get so immersed in what I'm doing that time just zips away. All of a sudden, boom, half hour's gone, and you say to yourself, my goodness, am I good? No, time is our best friend and our worst friend. It slips away on us really quick. One day we're 30, and the next day we're 60, and then we're looking at my brother or somebody else, and you're saying, God, what happened? That's why you got to celebrate the moment and live in the present now. Enjoy what you have. I always thought my brother was the luckiest person in the whole world. He hit the lottery 3 times. Most people never even see the lottery, but he was blessed in that sense. Only one other guy in Massachusetts hit the lottery more. He hit it 4 times than my brother Vinny. So if you're going to paint, and you're going to paint water, you got to keep moving it across. Don't go up and down. It's always, even the strokes on the sky, you see me go in one direction. Keep going in that same direction so the paint goes across the canvas. And you know something, if you look at this, this is really abstract. That's what I love about doing these ocean scenes. People say, oh my God, they're so realistic. And I looked at them and I say, they're so abstract. They're really quite abstract if you really look at them. I'm lighting up. I mixed the real white. The other stuff was gesso, the stuff they used to cover the canvas. And I mixed a lot of the real white to give it the highlights in the sand. Put it over here like this. Go wild. And I want to give this a little texture, so I'm going to bump it along here like this. The side of the brush, just to give it a tiny bit of texture so it looks like it's real grass. Closer you get, I take all of this for granted, but you know something, when you do a show like this, I got to tell you all of these things so that you say, what are you doing there, Paul? Why are you doing that? And that's why I'm doing that. Like this is up here at the top here, this is the sand way up in here. And this is all the grass. So I'm going to put that sand up in here like this. And then I'm going to mix the raw sienna with the dark brown. So we have that golden kind of look. You can't mess this up because you're in charge. You're the artist. It's your painting. Nobody else is going to see the photograph but you. And when they see the painting, they see what you've done, not what you had to work from. It's like I was reading the scripture, doing lecturing one time, and I get so nervous, I get so emotional about reading scripture in front of a church I said to the priest, I just don't like to make a mistake. And he says, Paul, you can't make a mistake. Nobody knows what you're reading. So just go along. Don't even think about it. And you apply that to painting too. Nobody's going to see what you started with. You're in charge. Let me get back a little. Take a look. Oh yeah, it's starting to get there. It's starting. I'm going to mess with the water a little. Go back. Clean brush. Go to the dark. Thought I was going to be in trouble with this painting tonight because it's, like I said, it's one of these things that I've done so many of that I really love painting them. I could paint, I suppose I could paint these for the rest of my life and never be bored. I painted them for years and years and years and got away from them for a long time. I had started doing ocean scenes when I was about 12 or 13, and I think I did them for about 25, 30 years. And I got so to the point where I'm not going to do any more of these ocean scenes. They're driving me crazy. And I've gone back to them, and everybody's starting to fall in love with them again. Say, oh my God, I love the sky in that one. And then a few years I did nothing but skies. So sometimes, you know, when you paint like this, you do one thing for a while, then you do another thing for a while, and you get away and you do flowers or you do still lifes. I mean, when I post all of this stuff on the internet, I get these people and say, oh my God, you're so versatile. Well, I've been painting, I don't know, I started when I was 7 and I'm 69. So what is that, 62 years? It's a long time. I mean, I did other things, don't get me wrong, but I still painted every week, every single time I could get to the studio. I had a wife and 4 kids and 2 or 3 businesses that I had to take care of, and still managed to get to the studio and paint. I looked at one of the photo albums and it had 361 paintings in it. And somebody said to me, have you ever not painted? I said, not that I can remember. What I'm doing is I'm just blending the sky. And I'm smoothing it so that it gets nice and tight and has that really You can see how I wear out my brushes. Oh, they wind up like little tiny twiggies. Let me see if I could show you. I wear out all of the, I have a whole bowl full of these brushes that, and this is a good example, this one. And it started out as a full brush and it winds up as this thing because I rub it against the canvases. I mean, I have probably 200 or 300 brushes, but I like them when they're like that because they have a certain quality that I like when I'm painting in a certain way. It does what I want. How do you think of that lady that found the Renoir in the, I don't know where she got it. I think she got it at a flea market. She paid $7 for it. It turned out to be a $150,000 painting. And they also found the Da Vinci in Scotland. Mother and daughter were looking to raise some money, so they were going to have a yard sale. They went up in the attic and they said, oh, we got this silly painting of a Madonna and children. And the daughter says, well, let's get it appraised to see if it has any value. And so she went to Sotheby's in Scotland, and the man told her to sit down. Sit down, both of you. She said, this painting's worth $150 million. We think it's an original Da Vinci. You can look that up on the internet. I looked it up on the internet. I thought it was baloney. But it's actually true. It might not have been hand-painted by Da Vinci. It might have been a student of Da Vinci's. He had his hand on it. But it was 600 years old. How it got in the attic of this house, who knows? God, I wish it was in my attic. Oh. All right, we're getting there. I'm going to go back and sit down and take a look. Oh, man. It looks like it's going downhill. I'm going to change the color of the water a little. I think the water got a little too dark, and that stuff on the sand got a little dark. See, this is what you got to do. You can't see it when you're on top of it, when you're really close. And a lot of people don't realize this, but when you paint a painting and you paint the water is a reflection. The water is a mirror of the sky. I did one, I should have brought it, I almost did, of the North River, and I call it the water's edge, the river's edge. And it is such a reflection of the surface of the trees and the water and everything. Ah, beautiful painting. I do say so myself. And I posted it on the internet, and people will say, oh my God, Paul, it looks like a photograph. It doesn't look like a painting. Well, I don't think it looks like a photograph, but And this is the time in the painting where you feel like it's getting laborious. You've been here for almost an hour, standing here, going back and forth, back and forth. This is the best time to go put the canvas away and go sit down somewhere, go have lunch, and come back and look at it with fresh eyes. Or go for a walk. Just get away from it for a few minutes. Sometimes that's what kills the painting. People stand on top of that painting for so long and they want it to look a certain way. They're determined they're going to get that. They're going to get it just what they want. And that's when they kill the painting. I'll say the best part about painting is sitting in my rocking chair, looking at it, or sitting in this chair back here. I'm going to go back and take a look with my mirror. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get that horizon line. I should use a smaller brush. Get that horizon line so it's pretty solid, and I'll get it. So this is what painting's all about. You just keep on applying it, and then all of a sudden you get to a certain point, and you say, well, where am I? What's going on here? Am I at where I'm supposed to be at? That's when you got to say, okay, put down the brush and wait. Wait till tomorrow, or wait for an hour, or go for a walk, or go get lunch. And you just keep going over and over and over and over. And all of a sudden, eventually, when you get to a certain point, you'll know. That takes a while. Nothing about anything in life is done instantly. Everything takes a while. Everything takes an effort, a lot of energy. I love what Picasso said. A woman walked up to Picasso on a bench. She had a little pad of paper with her, and she said, "Are you Picasso?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And she said, will you do a drawing of me? And he said, I'd love to. She gave him the little pad. He did the drawing, about 5 minutes, and she said, how much is that? And he said, $5,000. She says, $5,000? That's outrageous. You did that in 5 minutes. He says, oh no, that took me a lifetime. You know, that's what painting is. Anything, music, acting, no matter what you do, it's a lifetime work. Over and over until you get it exactly what you want. And I'm getting there, starting to have that feeling. Ah, nice. We're gently running out of this beautiful, beautiful painting. We're going to have it done, not finished. We're going to be able to present it in a way. I'm just kind of thinking that this is going uphill. I haven't quite, I wish I had a level. I'm trying to keep looking at it to say, I've gone back there, squinted. Let me take a look. I think this blue line's driving me nuts. Let me get rid of this. It's just a little too strong for my taste. I think it was taking over. So you put something down and you take something away, and you put something down and you take something away. And that's what painting's all about. Don't get discouraged. If it doesn't work that particular day, get it the next day. One thing you've got to learn if you're going to paint, you're in charge. Don't even get pushed around by your own insecurity in your own mind. That's what the hardest thing is. Got this little voice saying, you can't do that. What are you, nuts? Who do you think you are? Those are the voices. You got to forget it. You know, and I used to say, oh, if I could do one painting and it was pretty nice and I would be happy with it, I'd be so thrilled. I don't say things like that anymore. I just go and do it. Maybe that's maturity, I don't know. A lifetime of painting, but it goes along with everything. I'm driving over here and I'm saying, I'm a great painter. I am going to do a fantastic job tonight. I'm going to make everybody happy. That's the way I think. And when I'm doing a demonstration in front of an artist, and I do a lot of them, and they'll say to me, I'll show them a picture like I showed you, and they'll say, you're not going to be able to do that. I did a painting of water lilies one time in front of 150 artists. You're not going to ever get that 2 hours. You're not ever going to get that done. I said, no, I'm not going to get it done, but I'm going to paint it. And so that's what this is all about. Painting is doing, not talking about it, just go do it. I've discovered that people who talk about something don't do. Be a doer. So you people in Hanover, you're so blessed to have this station. You're great people in it. Colleen's fantastic. And if you're watching this show, you know, drop an email. Say, hi, Colleen. We like your show. If you want to send in a request or a questionnaire or something, suggestion, she'd love to hear from you. That's her job. They got a beautiful person when they got Colleen. We used to have a station in Pembroke, but not anymore. The selectmen gave it to Plymouth. It's got a lot of people up in arms. So be careful about what you let the selectmen do. It's your money, your taxes. Let's go see what we got. So we're going to be on YouTube, Expression and Painting by Paul Crimi. You'll be able to see this or any of the shows. And they'll show it, and it'll be on for an hour, and you could critique it, let me know what you think. I'm still going uphill here. I don't know if I can ever get this thing straight. Maybe I should tilt the canvas a little so if I can get it there. So maybe I'll get it straight now. That's better. It's just a fraction. That's all it ever is, a fraction, a tiny little bit. The eye sees so much. Somebody asked me, he said, why do you paint all these ocean scenes? I said, they're not ocean scenes to me. They're abstracts. This is very, very abstract. It is ocean, but it's still abstract. What's real? I'm going to dry it a little. I added that dark brown to give it some real pull. I mean, sometimes when you use something dark in the back, it sort of pulls it forward, but it kind of pushes it around nice. I think it looks really good. I think that the colors are starting to come up. I'm at the studio. I think I'll add the ducks. I won't add the ducks here. I'll bring it back next month and I'll show it to you. I probably have about 5-6 hours in this canvas before it's finished, but it's got a nice beginning. And I'm going to tell you something about acrylics. They dry darker than you could ever imagine. Oh, great. We're getting there. So we got a few minutes left. We started with this photograph. I'm going to show you, bring it to Andrew. And I don't think we finished it, but we got pretty close. There it is, Andrew. And you saw me stand there, use the blower, and go over and over and over and over. I think I went over that sky maybe 4 or 5 times. I love the sky. The sky feels really soft and quiet, and it's got these little tiny clouds. Beautiful. The ground's good. The water in the foreground can use a little more work on it, but it has the essence of the photograph in the sensibility of a beach, ocean scene kind of thing. Put a white frame on this, you stick it up on the wall, you'd be thrilled. Painting is something you do because it gives you tremendous pleasure and satisfaction. Every time you paint, you get a different feeling. Look at what you see around you, get a camera, photograph it, take the photographs, paint. You can paint anything in your house, still lifes, you can paint your kids. I've painted my wife and daughter. I've taken photographs of them sitting down. It's on my website. It's called A Moment's Rest. It's paulcremifinearts.com. If you want to see this show in its entirety and you don't want to, and you're not catching it on the local stations, it's on YouTube, Expression in Painting by Paul Crimi. We're glad to bring this to you. God bless and good night.